It is the year 2060. In the timeline in which Ted Wilson died during the Battle of Austin in the year 2036, not the one in which he used a time machine to try to kill Carrie Sims in the past. Android 104, answer the door. Yes, sir.
Are you the mayor of this town?
Yes. I am Matt Lazinski. What can I do for you?
My name is Cassie Belmont. Well, Belmont is actually my maiden name. I am one of the sisters of Deborah Belmont. According to this town's website, Deborah is serving as your town's district attorney. Can I see her? It has been so many years since we saw each other.
Sure, let me contact her. Deborah, there is a woman here at my office who says she is your sister Cassie. Do you remember her?
Yes, I did have a sister by that name. She is looking for me now? Let me speak to her. Deborah, is that really you? Cassie, why are you looking for me? We haven't seen each other in decades. I know. It's been way too long, hasn't it? Can I please see you again? Sure. Come meet me at the Tuscany Tavern in about half an hour. Mayor Lazinski will give you directions to it.
Deborah then goes straight to the restaurant, which is now owned by Penny Bentley Smith.
Welcome to the Tuscany Tavern, Deborah. What would you like to order? A medium pepperoni pizza and 2 glasses of water. I will be expecting someone. Oh, a date? You have a new boyfriend, Deborah? No, it's nothing like that. Just get me a table. So why are you here, Cassie? I just thought I'd try to reconnect with you. Our parents are both dead and I got married right out of high school, only to be divorced once my husband and I learned I couldn't get pregnant. So I was curious as to how you and the triplets were doing now. They are fine. They are all grown up and living their own lives apart from me, just as I intended. In fact, they don't even know I'm their birth mother. They grew up knowing me as their eldest sister, and they were raised by 3 couples they consider their parents. Which is why I'd rather you not have contact with them. How am I supposed to explain to them that I have another sister they never knew before? And that I'm the one who gave birth to them? Jack Nicholson was over 30 years old before he learned that his parents were actually his grandparents and his sister was actually his mother. And he turned out well. Anyway, our parents never abandoned their Christian views, but like you I came to reject those views as I grew older. The terrible experience I had with my now ex-husband was the final straw in my being religious. He treated me like I was supposed to be his breeding machine, and knowing I couldn't have his baby was enough for him to kick me out of our house. That's why I sort of envy you. You were able to have triplets at age 15. Trust me, Cassie, I'd be happy to trade places with you. I never wanted to have any more children after my parents forced me to have the triplets, and to this day I am legally childless. Or as it is called now, I am child-free. You don't need to have children in order to feel good about yourself. Well, I can't just turn off my hurt feelings. I agree that people should have control over their own bodies. But like you, I was denied control over mine. I wanted to get pregnant and have my own babies. And I can't.
After talking with her sister, Deborah makes a series of phone calls. And a few days later, a Belmont family reunion of sorts is arranged at the Wilson Smith Mansion, which is now owned by Dr. Paul Jenkins and Reverend Vicky Sims, as well as Whitney Owen and Charlie Wilson. James Smith Bentley and Penny Bentley Smith also call that mansion their home. The Belmont triplets arrive to meet their Aunt Cassie, and Debbie Smith and Carrie Sims arrive from Dallas.
Okay, it's time for introductions. Starting with the triplets.
Hello, Aunt Cassie. I am Sammy Belmont. I live in Houston, where I am a construction worker.
I'm Sarah Belmont and this is Susan. We both live in Dallas and work as models for Aphrodite Agency.
I am Paul Jenkins, the chief physician at the local hospital. And this is my wife,
Reverend Vicky Sims. I serve as minister at First Unitarian Universalist Church of this town. And I am Debbie Smith, the CEO of Aphrodite Agency.
And I am Carrie Sims, Debbie's wife. I work as a detective for the Dallas Police Department. I also work as an artist.
It is good to meet all of you. And I have news for you triplets. Since my parents have died and I am childless and divorced, I am the sole heir to my parents' estate. So I would like to write a will in which you three can inherit from the estate I am now in charge of.
How much money are we talking about?
The estate is valued at over $2 million. When I pass away, its assets will be sold off and the money divided equally among the three of you. That's awesome. No, I and my brother and sister are not bothered by us learning that you were the one that gave birth to us. That doesn't change the fact that we were raised by 6 of the most wonderful parents we could have had. Or that you also were willing to help raise us as a sister. Thanks to you, we have an awesome life. We love you.
So, are we supposed to call you Mother now?
No, you may just call me Sister Deborah if you want. I am happy being treated as your sister. It's what I wanted. Congrats on reconciling with your sister. So how is James doing now? He, Richard, and Diana are almost finished with their spaceship. James says it may be launched next month.
Uncle James, all the electronic components on the bridge have been tested. Everything is in order. Good. I can't wait for us to launch this bad boy.
Uncle James, the robot and I have finished stocking up the food and medical supplies.
Then we are done. Let's head back to the town. Next month, we take our first time trip.
It is May of the year 2016. The many relatives of Debbie Smith and Carrie Sims have gathered at Houston to witness the launch of the spacecraft designed and built by James Smith Bentley, Richard Sims, and Diana Hudson.
After many years of research and hard work, the ship we designed and built is ready to open up a new age of exploration and discovery. Richard has named it the USS Sandy, after my mother and his grandmother, Sandy Smith. Though she did not live to see this day, we honor her memory now.
This is awesome. But I have a question, James. I remember our mother telling me that a spacecraft like this one was used by my older self, by Richard, and Diana on several occasions to alter the course of our own history. First, I and Diana stopped our mother from getting multiple sclerosis and then dying by suicide. Then I revealed to our mother what Ted Wilson had just done to his wife Rebecca and daughter Janet, and then he was arrested and sent to prison for those crimes. And finally, Richard and Diana gave Suzanne Hudson a vaccine to prevent her from dying from a virus, and later she began a political career that ended with her becoming governor of California. So is that why you had this ship built, to make possible those time trips?
I don't think we need to do those things. My guess is that the versions of you, Richard and Diana you mentioned came from alternate timelines that may not even exist, or if they do we may never see them. But you and our mother telling me about those things was what started us on the path to making this ship, complete with its ability to travel in time. We just need to test it now. Alright, let's begin. Richard and Janet, report. This ship is now at full power and can be launched at your command.
The sensor arrays and communication system are fully functional. Diana and Carrie, report. The teleportation device is operational, as is the time travel system. I'm so happy we can finally do this.
Richard, start the time jump. And we begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Engaging now. Wah! Our hunt did not go well today. We tried to kill the horse, and it almost stepped on Mac, but I drove the horse off before it could hurt him. I don't think you'll ever make a good hunter.
It's okay, Jen and I got enough roots and berries to feed all of us. Come to dinner.
Mama, I know what I saw. It was a big shiny thing in the sky. Bigger than the moon and faster. What if it threatens us?
Are you sure what you saw was even real?
What are you two talking about?
Jen says she saw this flying object.
It wasn't a bird or a bat, it had no wings and was shiny like the moon. It flew across the sky really fast.
How can something without wings fly?
Maybe we could find this thing and learn where it came from. Why bother? If we can't eat it, wear it, or live in it, it is of no use to us. The cave dwellers are talking about.
Uncle James, it seems the time trip we took was so long that we burned out the time travel device. We will begin working on it, but I can't say how soon we can get it repaired. I can't believe this is happening.
Did we have to travel back in time 100,000 years? Only 2,000 years would have made better sense.
I'm sorry. I was really hoping we could go back in time many millions of years, so 100,000 years didn't seem like that much.
This was only our first time trip. We should have been more careful.
We might as well go exploring this area. According to these readings, we are just south of the Alps and near the Po River.
Richard, you, Diana and Janet work on repairing the time travel device. The rest of us will go exploring outside. I wonder how long we may be stuck here? The food supplies will last us about 2 months. Then we would have to live off the land.
You really think we will be here for many months?
We have to consider all possibilities.
Hey, I saw someone moving near us. Look out. See? I was right. They are intruders.
Indeed, you were, Jen. Let's take them back to our cave. Papa, the third one is running back to the big silver thing. Shouldn't we try to catch her? Maybe we can get her later. For now, we have these two and we may get answers from them. The cave dwellers have taken James and Carrie to their cave. I am Gerlach, and this is our home. The land here is our hunting and gathering grounds, and we tolerate no intruders trying to steal from us. We demand that you get out.
I wish we could, but we are stuck here. Could you at least help us get our own cave and teach us how to survive around here? Maybe we could be neighbors and even friends?
We have never seen people like you before. Where are you from?
We come from a distant land in a different time. In our place, we don't live in caves and we don't need to hunt or gather to survive. But since we are in your time and place, we need to learn from you so we can have a chance to survive ourselves.
How many people are in your tribe?
There are 6 of us. Well, 7, actually, if you count the robot that is also with us.
A robot? What's that?
A machine I created. Anyway, we can just stay on our spaceship and call it our home, but we still need food. If you can just teach us how you gather food, maybe we can help you in turn. We have weapons we can use to shoot down big animals we can then use for meat. We can share the meat with you. Give us a chance to prove we can help you.
James then pulls out his cell phone, which is modified to interact with the spaceship's communication system.
Debbie, the cave people that captured us are led by a man named Gerlach. We need to convince him that we are no threat and we can help his family.
If he wants to prove his goodwill to us, tell him to release Carrie so she can come back here. Then Carrie will lead some of us back to the cave you are at.
Jen, take Carrie to the outside of the cave and release her. I'd better not regret this. You say this gun can kill animals much bigger than we could kill with spears?
That's right, and I will prove it. Here comes a mammoth now.
My own father was killed by one of those monsters. I have feared them ever since.
Time to show what we can do. Now you will die, mammoth.
That will be enough meat for all of us to feast on for several days. You have proven you can be trusted to help us, so we will help you in return. Mac and Jen, get the knives so we can start cutting out the meat to share with our new friends.
When you are gathering berries, you must never take the green ones. They have poison. It is the red and blue ones that are safe to eat. You can also dig for swollen roots that are brown, red, or orange. We also sometimes dig up grubs and grub bugs and caterpillars off trees.
You would eat bugs. I can't imagine having them in my diet, so I will pass.
When you and your children are starving, especially in winter, you may not have a choice on what to eat.
Since you live near a river, maybe you can catch fish too?
We never go into the river. Big lizards with sharp teeth might attack us there.
We call them alligators. Maybe we can kill some of them for you so you can then hunt for fish.
I never dreamed we could eat fresh meat from such an animal.
Yes, and it's so good. These people are so powerful. Maybe the sun god sent them to help us?
You worship the sun? To us, it is just something in the sky.
My Uncle Jonathan and Aunt Tara are sun worshippers. It may seem primitive, but it is also practical, since the sun is known to be the source of light and heat we all depend on.
We can repair the time travel device, but we must be careful not to make any time jumps more than 1,000 years in either direction to prevent another burnout of the device.
So we would have to make 100 time jumps to return home. That sucks. Before we go, we can team up with Glock and his family to gather a lot more food and kill more large animals for meat to store on our ship. Sure, let's do that. And next time we make a trip like this, we will make sure to store a lot more food for the trip first.
1 week after their first encounter with Gerlach and his family, the crew of the USS Sandy have repaired the ship's time travel device and are ready to leave. Your people have been a big help to us. Now, I would like to ask a favor of you.
What is it?
My mate Pelabong and I are used to the life here. But I know our children can have a better life with you. Would you take them with you? If they are willing to adapt to life with us, sure. Is that what you both want? Yes. We promise we will do our best to serve you.
All right, we will take them. All right, let's do the time jump. Robot, report.
We are now ready for the time jump.
Proceed now.
And we begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Wah!
We have traveled forward 1,000 years. 99,000 years in the past.
How long before we can make another time jump?
About 10 to 12 hours.
We have traveled 1,000 years into our own future. And since we may never see our parents again, that means from our point of view, they have died.
So you want to perform a death ritual to honor their memory?
That's right.
This death ritual. I think we have that sort of thing. We call them funerals. James and I also lost our own parents, but at different times. Our father died when I was 14 years old, and our mother died 4 years ago.
You and the others are welcome to observe our death ritual. Father Gerlach and Mother Pelabong, we remember you for how you cared for us and what you taught us. May we someday be as good for others as you were to us.
Your memory will live on through us. Our love for you is forever. Now it is your turn, Debbie and James. Mother Sandy and Father Richard, we remember you, for all that you did for us and what you taught us.
Your heroic deeds will be praised, and even the mistakes you made were learning experiences for both of us that helped shape us into the noble people we became. Thank you both, for everything.
Interesting. It seems you were both loyal to your parents' memory and willing to criticize some of the things they did. Is this normal for your kind?
Yes. Part of growing up is to realize that no one is perfect and seeking to make yourself better regardless of what others do.
That's actually a good lesson. Lucy, when we got married, did you ever imagine that we would still be together over 50 years later? It somehow seems like only yesterday we tied the knot on that cruise ship in front of many of my relatives.
I just know that getting married to you was the best thing I ever did in my life. No matter what happens, as long as we are together, my life is beautiful. Never doubt that, Jessica. You are my everything.
And you are also my everything. Sandy, we miss you. Now I understand why some people still believe in life after death. Lucy and I still feel your presence in our lives even now.
Debbie, it was my mother's love for each other and for me that made me able to love and be loyal to you in turn. They showed me what was possible and made me believe I could be like them.
And you proved to be just as awesome for me as your mothers were to each other, Carrie. With you, my life is indeed complete.
Diana, I learned from my mothers and my grandmothers how to love others, and so when I got to know you, all I ever wanted to do for my life was be to you what they were to each other.
And you were exactly the sort of man I always wanted, Richard. Everything about you, about us, is beautiful, and I am loyal to you for as long as we both live. I promise.
Over the course of a week, the time ship Sandy makes several more time jumps, getting closer to the native time of its crew members. But they are frustrated by the slowness of their progress. Finally, Richard comes up with a solution.
So my proposal is that we build and attach to the time travel device a radiator like one that is often used in cars. The constant flowing of water around the time travel device will prevent it from overheating, as long as the supply of water is maintained.
I can't believe we only came up with this solution now. Even a basically trained auto mechanic knows how important it is to keep an engine cool when it is operating.
Well, now we know better, Mother Carrie, so we will start work on the radiator now.
Wow! These things in space are amazing. And that is really what the Earth looks like from above?
Yes. Isn't it beautiful?
Of course. And so are you. Or, you would be if you didn't have that mask on.
Trying pick-up lines on me, cave boy. Not a good idea. And I'm not wearing a mask. This thing on my face is a visor. Without it, I am blind. I lost my natural eyes when I was a baby.
Oh? How did that happen?
I'd rather not talk about it. Mac, leave her alone. She clearly is not interested in you. She probably has a mate in her native time. I'm sorry about Mac's rude behavior. But he does want a mate. If he and I had stayed with our parents, in another few years they would have made a deal with another family to exchange children. I'd be with that family's son, and Mac would be with their daughter, and both of us would be living in other caves with our mates. That's sad. You should be allowed to choose your own mate. But the thing is, I have no interest in boys. The only time I ever feel love for someone outside my family is with another girl. But I can't have babies with another girl, can I? You are lesbian? So are Debbie and Carrie. But they have a son, Richard. They did have a child together? How? I guess you can ask them about it. Why did my original father do this horrible thing to me? So many boys and men have rejected me because of my missing eyes. To them, I am a freak.
The radiator designed by Richard has now been built and attached to the time travel device.
The radiator includes a huge tank of water and tubing that wraps around the time travel device to draw heat away from the device so it won't be damaged. Water flowing in the tubing absorbs heat, and then the water is pumped back into the tank. The flow is constant and the main tank of water should remain cool enough to absorb all the heat to allow the time travel device to work for many hours, making much longer time trips possible. Awesome. Let's get started. Hopefully this time we will make it all the way home. Janet, I need you and the robot to monitor the time travel device's temperature to make sure the radiator works as planned.
Yes, James.
Now the time has come. Richard, the coordinates have been set. Engaging. Wah!
Cousin James, the radiator is working just as planned. The temperature of the time travel device remains normal. We did it. We have confirmed that we are back at the year 2060.
Good. We will land at Houston and then go home.
And what are we going to do with our special guests? We can't just expect them to adjust right away to life in the 21st century.
I hope you like the new clothes I made for you. Yes, these are awesome. Much more comfortable than those old skins. Wouldn't you agree, Mac?
Indeed. I and Jen are so happy you were willing to take us on board. What's that?
It's the ship's PA system. Someone is about to make an announcement.
Attention all hands. We have arrived in the year 2060 and will soon land in Houston. Then we all will return to our homes.
And so Debbie, Carrie, Richard, and Diana return to Dallas, while James, Janet, Mac and Jen go to the town. And the robot stays on the ship to guard it.
Welcome back, my beloved. So you say these are actual cave people?
That's right. They will be staying with us while we help them learn how to live in our society.
How old are they, James?
Whitney, Jen is 15 years old and Mac is 13. So they could go to high school.
They've never been to any school, so they wouldn't do well there if we don't prepare them. Why not hire a private tutor to give them some education by themselves first?
We can find someone that specializes in remedial education. The cave teens will have to be tested first to see what they are capable of. Then the tutor will give them lessons to fit their needs and what they are capable of for 2 or 3 years. It was so embarrassing to have to be potty trained, as Diana called it. So many things are confusing and scary to me. I'm wondering now if we did the right thing leaving our parents behind to live in this time.